Hi everyone, I have another great recipe for you today. I think you're gonna love it because it's super easy, it's really fast, and it's made with pantry staples. And there are a million variations you can do using what you already have on hand. So it's my meatballs with my easy pantry gravy. And I roast the meatballs, I make the gravy on the stove, everything comes together in less than 30 minutes. And I really think you're gonna dig it because you can use what you have spice rack wise and what's in your fridge. And these can be turkey meatballs, beef meatballs, bison, chicken, whatever you want. I have beef. And I'm doing a double recipe for myself today. So I'm gonna tell you what the ingredients are, and then I'm doubling them because I wanna have a stash of these meatballs in my freezer for a future night when I need something and I can just like pull it from the freezer, straight from the freezer to the oven, and I'll have meatballs. So I've got 2 pounds of lean ground beef. I think I chose the 85 to 90% lean. So I've got 2 pounds of that in this big bowl. And here's one of my secret ingredients that I love. I crushed up some Ritz crackers. I've also done it with saltine crackers. I've done it with pretzels. So that is gonna be my breadcrumbs. So instead of using breadcrumbs, I love the cracker flavor. It's kind of a toasty flavor. So I'm gonna use a 1/4 cup for 1 pound. I'm doubling the recipe. So a second 1/4 cup, and you can save this for something fun, sprinkle it on something. Okay, and then I've got an egg. So the egg and the cracker join together to create what holds the meatballs together. It keeps them juicy, gives them flavor, it keeps them tender too. So I've got 2 eggs going in, there's 1. Remember, it just needs 1, but I'm doubling the recipe, so there's 2. And the rest really couldn't be easier. So I pulled out 2 dried herbs. I pulled out parsley, and you can use parsley, oregano, basil, thyme, so they're all good. I chose parsley and basil today. So 1 teaspoon, which I'm gonna double. So 2 teaspoons, and you can use a measuring spoon if you want. I like to do it in my hand, and I've pretty much got it down, I think. Okay, so I've got 1 teaspoon of basil, a 2nd teaspoon for the second batch, and then some salt and pepper, about a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper and about a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So there's my pepper, my salt. Okay, now is when you get your hands in there, you shape them into meatballs. I do 12 to 16, depends on my mood, and I put them on a parchment lined baking sheet. So I'm gonna get busy putting this together and I will show you what they look like. Okay, the beef mixture is all blended. I can actually smell the crackers in there. It smells so good. So what I like to do is I'll shape it into, as I said, 12 to 16 meatballs, and they're usually about, I guess, the size of a golf ball. So that's all you do. You just roll them into meatballs, and you get them to either a foil or parchment lined baking sheet. I'll keep rolling. Okay, here's the last one going on the tray. So this tray of meatballs is going to go into a 400-degree oven. I preheated the oven already. For 12 to 15 minutes, they're gonna get golden brown, caramelized on the outside and cooked through. And then this tray is gonna go in the freezer, just like this, on the tray, so they get frozen while they're in this shape, and then I can transfer them to a freezer bag for a future meal, and then they can go right back on the baking sheet frozen, and you just add like 5 minutes to the cooking time. So that's that. I'm gonna take these to the oven, and then I'm gonna meet you at the stove and show you how to do the gravy. Now I'm gonna show you how to make a really easy pantry staple gravy. And I think a lot of people are afraid of making a roux, so I'm gonna show you how to do it because it's really super easy. So I have 2 tablespoons of butter already melted in this skillet, and it's nice and bubbly. And to that, I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of flour. So it's 1-to-1 ratio. So 2 tablespoons butter, 2 tablespoons of flour. And the trick here is to incorporate the flour into the butter, gets rid of that raw flour flavor and gets a little toasty. Okay, now that the mixture is smooth, I can add the rest of the ingredients, and there are really only a handful. So I'm gonna use 1.5 cups to 2 cups of beef broth, beef stock, beef bouillon. I'm gonna start with 1/2 cup and see how we like that. I mean, 1.5 cups, and we'll see how we like that. Because some people like a lot of gravy, like we like a lot of gravy, and some don't. because I serve this over mashed potatoes, so we like to have a lot of gravy. And then I want to add a tablespoon of tomato paste. I've used ketchup when I've been out of tomato paste. I've got a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce. I've left it out when I haven't had it, so don't fret. I'm going to use a half a teaspoon of onion powder and a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And if you only have garlic salt, you can use that as well, but cut back on the salt when you seasoning later on. I would taste it first. So I'm going to give this a quick seasoning with salt and pepper, because you can always adjust that later. Then we bring this to a simmer and we just let it go for 8 to 10 minutes. Check that out, it's super bubbly and thickening up beautifully. We just let this go and then we'll add the meatballs right before serving. The meatballs roasting away. Here are the meatballs from the oven. See how a lot of the grease, the fat, cooks off? It's not in the meatball. I love that. That's why I love roasting meatballs. So now I'm going to put them right in the gravy. And let's check the gravy. Look how smooth and silky it is. See how easy it was too? We'll just get those meatballs right in there to join the party and let them simmer for a couple minutes. They're already cooked through, so we're just getting everything together happy in one pan. Look at the meatballs luxuriating in this gravy. I love it. So perfect, just a couple of minutes because they're already cooked through. And then I'm gonna bring this to the table with mashed potatoes, hit it with a little parsley. I'll show you what it looks like. There you have it, the meatballs, gravy, little parsley. Is that the easiest meatballs and gravy recipe you have ever seen? Because I know it is for me. I love it because I can raid the pantry and use what I have, and everyone loves gravy. And these meatballs are super easy and super healthy because we roasted them. And again, you can do it with chicken and turkey and bison if you want to do those kind of meatballs. And then we like to serve ours over mashed potatoes, but it's also great over rice or pasta or with a big chunk of bread. So I hope you try them. We love them. I think you'll love them. And raid your pantry. And we'll see you soon.